Today, I begin a new life. Today, something shifted. Not outside, but within. You may not see it yet, but deep inside, a quiet voice has whispered, "Enough. Enough of repeating the same cycles. Enough of surviving instead of living. Enough of pretending everything's fine when you're drowning in silence." And maybe, just maybe, you're ready. Ready to begin again. But beginnings are never loud. They don't come with applause or confetti. They come with discomfort. With facing the mirror after years of avoiding it. With admitting that you've lost yourself somewhere along the way. And as painful as that is, it's also the most powerful place to start. Because when you have nothing left to hide, you finally have everything to give. What are you still carrying that no longer serves you? Maybe it's not visible to others. Maybe it's a memory, a regret, a voice in your head that keeps repeating, "You're not good enough." These invisible burdens shape your posture, your breath, your decisions. And until you recognize them, they'll continue to guide your steps. Silently, but surely, letting go is not weakness. It's bravery in its purest form. Because to release is to trust. Trust that something better exists on the other side of emptiness. Trust that the pain of now is temporary, but the freedom you gain will last a lifetime. So, take a moment, close your eyes, and whisper it to yourself. I don't need to carry this anymore. Pause with me here. What have you felt so far? What did your heart say during these first steps of our journey? If something moved inside you, even quietly, write it down. It matters. And now we face the mirror. Not the one on your wall, but the one in your soul. The one that reflects not your image, but your truth. Can you look at it? Can you see the person behind the masks, behind the achievements, behind the mistakes? This mirror won't flatter you. It won't lie to protect you, but it will honor you. Because in it, you'll see not just what you are, but what you could become. The real you. The one who's been waiting all along for this exact moment. Thank you for staying with me until here. That already says a lot about your strength. And believe me, the most powerful chapters are yet to come. Now, listen, not to me, not to the world, but to yourself. Beneath all the noise, there's a whisper. It's subtle, but it's real. It's the voice you've been ignoring, silencing, pushing aside. And yet, it keeps returning. Softer each time, hoping you'll finally pay attention. You won't find your path in the volume of the world. You'll find it in the stillness, in the breath between your thoughts, in the space where doubt meets hope. So be still. For once, be still. And listen. Beginnings hurt. That's the truth no one tells you. Starting over sounds beautiful, but in practice, it's raw. It means saying goodbye to people, to places, to pieces of yourself. It means mourning what once gave you comfort, even if it also caused you pain. But every seed must break before it can grow. Every sunrise requires the death of night. So don't resist the pain of your beginning. Embrace it. Let it break you open. Because only through the cracks can the light truly enter. There comes a moment when you realize the past no longer has power unless you give it permission. It doesn't own you. It doesn't define you. It's simply a place you've been, not where you're going. That moment is quiet. No fireworks. No grand declarations. Just a subtle internal shift. A decision. I am no longer a prisoner of yesterday. From this moment on, I live forward. But living forward requires a vision. Not just escape from the past, but direction toward something meaningful. So ask yourself, what kind of life would make you proud? What kind of days would make you feel alive? Don't settle for survival. Build something worth waking up for. Create a life that makes your heart beat faster, not in fear, but in purpose. The blueprint isn't outside of you. It's always been within. you'll start to notice small changes. The way you speak to yourself, the way you stand, the choices you make when no one's watching. These are not accidents. These are the signs of transformation taking root. Don't ignore them. Celebrate them. Because these little shifts, these invisible victories, are how new lives are built. Quietly, intentionally, brick by brick dot, and with each change comes a new responsibility to protect your peace. Not everyone will understand the new you. Some will feel threatened by it. Some will try to pull you back into who you used to be. That's okay. You're not here to convince them. You're here to honor the journey you're on. So guard your energy, set boundaries, choose silence over proving, and keep moving forward with grace. There's a strength in stillness that most people never tap into. A kind of power that's not loud, not forceful, but unshakable. When you stop reacting and start responding, you reclaim your authority over your life. Stillness is not weakness. It's clarity. And clarity is where wisdom grows. So if you find yourself in a season of pause, don't rush it. You're not stuck. You're being refined. Eventually, the old version of you will come knocking, in moments of doubt, in habits that once comforted you. It will feel familiar, seductive even, but you've come too far to go back. Look at that old self with compassion and close the door. That chapter is complete. Thank it, bless it, and walk away. You are not who you were. You are becoming who you are always meant to be. You may face resistance, not just from others, but from within. That inner voice will rise, questioning everything. Who do you think you are? What if you fail again? Are you really ready? And in those moments, speak back. Speak truth to the lies. Remind yourself of how far you've come, of what you've already survived. You don't need permission to grow. You only need courage to continue. And then one day, you'll notice the change. Not in one grand moment, but in how your mornings feel lighter, in how your eyes meet your own reflection, in how peace, not fear, guides your choices. That's how it happens. Quietly, steadily, authentically. A new life is not something you find. It's something you build one sacred step at a time. As you grow, you'll lose things. Not just people or places, but versions of yourself. You'll say goodbye to old habits, old stories, and old definitions of who you were. It might feel like loss, but it's really release. And in that release, there's space. Space for the new, space for joy, space for unexpected peace. You can't receive what's next if your hands are still full of what used to be. You'll find beauty in simplicity, in a quiet cup of coffee, in a walk without your phone, in the sound of your own breath. This is the life you once thought was beyond you, now present in the smallest of details. Joy no longer has to be dramatic. It can be soft, subtle, slow, and that kind of joy is deeper because it's real. It doesn't perform. It simply exists, like sunlight warming your skin. Somewhere along the way, you'll be tested. A familiar pain will return. A familiar voice will echo, and you'll have a choice. Do I respond like I used to? Or do I pause, breathe, and choose differently? This is the test of transformation, not perfection, but awareness. When you can see the pattern before you repeat it, you've already begun to break it. You'll feel an unfamiliar confidence rising in you. It won't be loud or arrogant. It will be quiet, rooted. A knowing that you can trust yourself now. That you don't have to chase validation anymore. You've earned this, not because you've never failed, but because you've dared to stand back up every single time. That is your crown. Wear it, then comes alignment. When your values, your words, and your actions finally begin to match. When you stop saying yes to things that drain you, when your calendar starts to reflect your heart, not your obligations. This is freedom, not the absence of responsibility, but the presence of purpose. You begin to build a life you don't need to escape from. And in the middle of that life, grace will meet you. Grace for the days you fall short. Grace for the moments you feel tired. Grace for being human in a world that demands perfection. Don't confuse grace with weakness. It is strength wrapped in softness. The gentle voice that says, "Try again." The embrace that meets you where you are, but refuses to leave you there. You'll start speaking differently, not just to others, but to yourself. Your words will carry more intention, more compassion. You'll stop repeating the old scripts that kept you small. Your language will reflect your healing. You'll speak with hope, even when afraid. You'll speak with truth, even when it's hard. And most of all, you'll speak to yourself with love, not judgment. And somewhere along the way, you'll become the version of yourself you once only dreamed of. Not perfect, not invincible, but present, awake, anchored in truth. Driven by love, you won't need applause. You won't need to prove anything. You'll know, deep in your spirit, that this life is yours. And it was worth every painful, beautiful, terrifying step to get here. You'll begin to notice the people who remain, the ones who stood by you in the silence, the ones who didn't try to fix you, but chose to walk with you. These are your people. Treasure them, and you'll notice the ones who left. Let them go. With peace. Not everyone can walk with you into your healing. Some were only meant to be part of the storm, not the sunrise. You'll understand that not every battle needs your sword. Sometimes, walking away is strength. Sometimes, silence is wisdom. You'll choose peace over pride and calm over chaos. This isn't giving up. It's growing up. It's knowing that your energy is sacred and not everything deserves a reaction. You're not here to win arguments. You're here to protect your soul. Then, one day, without fanfare, you'll smile. A real smile. Not the one you wore to keep others comfortable, but the kind that rises from the heart no longer burdened. A smile that says, "I'm free." And in that moment, you'll understand. The journey was never about becoming someone else. It was about returning to who you really were. Before the world told you who to be, there will be moments when you're asked to guide others. Not as an expert, but as a witness. You'll share your story, not to impress, but to connect. Not to teach, but to remind them, you're not alone. Your pain will become someone else's hope. Your scars will become someone else's map. That is the purpose of healing, not just for you, but for the ones still in the dark. As you walk this new life, you'll stop measuring your worth by your productivity. You'll no longer feel guilty for resting, for laughing, for simply being. You'll understand that your existence by itself is enough. You are not your to-do list. You are not your income, your status, your mistakes. You are a soul wrapped in skin, learning how to love and be loved. And that is more than enough. And then comes peace. Not the peace that depends on circumstances, but the peace that lives inside you now. The kind that stays, even in the storms. The kind that can't be stolen. This peace, it's yours. You earned it, not because you are perfect, but because you didn't quit. You stayed. You healed. You chose the narrow path. And now, you can finally rest in who you've become. This is your new life. Not flawless, not easy, but yours. Built with intention, forged through pain, watered with hope. And it all began the moment you whispered, "Today, I begin a new life." You might feel like you're walking through fog right now. You can't see clearly where you're going, and the ground beneath you feels uncertain. But here's the thing. The fog isn't there to stop you. It's there to teach you to walk by. Faith, not by sight. Sometimes the most powerful step is the one you take not knowing where it will lead. That step says, I trust. Not in the outcome, but in the process. Not in the plan, but in the one who walks with me. Keep going. One foot, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. There will be days when you feel like turning back. When the old life, even with all its pain, will feel safer than this unknown path. That's normal. Your mind craves familiarity, even if it hurts. But don't let comfort trap you. Freedom lies beyond familiarity. Growth lives outside of routine. And the person you're becoming, they are worth every uncomfortable step you take away from the past. You're not who you were. And that's a good thing. You will be tempted to compare, to look at others who seem ahead, more successful, more at peace. Don't. Their path is not yours. Their timing is not yours. What you carry, they may never understand. And what you'll achieve, they could never reach. Stay in your lane. Water your own soil. Look at your roots, not their fruit. You are growing in a way that can't always be seen, but one day it will be undeniable. Do you remember how it felt to dream? Before the disappointments, before the rejections, before life hardened you. That spark still lives in you. It may be quiet now, buried under layers of fear, but it's not dead. Let's dig for it. Gently, patiently. Let's blow the dust off that dream and hold it again. Not with expectation, but with wonder. What if you dared to believe again? Fear will always try to walk beside you. It will whisper doubts, suggest shortcuts, and point back toward the past. But fear doesn't deserve the front seat. You don't have to eliminate it. Just don't let it drive. Tell fear, you can come, but you're not in charge. And walk anyway. Shake, cry, doubt, but move. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of it. You might feel alone on this journey, like no one understands, like your steps go unnoticed. But let me tell you something that may surprise you. Someone is watching. Someone is being inspired by your quiet bravery. The way you show up, even broken, is giving others permission to do the same. You're not invisible. You're impactful. Every silent step forward leaves a trail someone else will follow. Let's talk about forgiveness. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. For the times you stayed too long. For the chances you didn't take. For the words you didn't say. You were surviving. You were doing your best with what you knew. But now you know more. Now you have the wisdom that only pain can teach. So let go of the guilt. You don't live there anymore. Today, you begin again with grace. And then there's gratitude. Not for what you lost, but for what it taught you. Not for the pain itself, but for the person it revealed in you. Gratitude doesn't erase the past. It redeems it. So take a deep breath. Look at everything that tried to break you and thank it, because it failed. And here you are, not perfect, not untouched, but whole in a way you never were before.